Tonight, on this edition of Newswatch 18, it was another record-breaking year for the ISU Dance Marathon. Stay tuned for all the details from Saturday's event.
The results for the 2012 Iowa caucuses have been announced, and the results may cost Iowa its first in the nation status.
The women's basketball team won their first game in the Big 12 Conference over the weekend. Stay tuned for the highlights and more on this edition of Newswatch 18. Good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome to the January 23rd edition of Newswatch 18. I'm Kate Hurley.
And I'm Chrissy Amaya.
Almost 900 students packed into the Memorial Union last weekend for the Dance Marathon. The students laced up their dancing shoes to kick it for the kids. Reporter Addie Olson has the story.
It may look like a dance floor on Welch Ave any other Saturday night, but last weekend students were dancing for a different cause.
I'm here for Dance Marathon 2012 and staying here for 15 hours, kicking it for the kids.
Dancers were in high spirits as they spent the day with some very special guests.
I love the kids, love them, have them here, and it's nice seeing more and more come. I mean, I was up on stage a little bit ago doing morale dance, and there were a couple of them up there with me, and I was already getting tears in my eyes.
The money raised by Dance Marathon each year benefits the University of Iowa Children's Medical Center through the Children's Miracle Network. 11-year-old Timothy tells us just how much this money can do for a child struggling for each breath.
So when I was born, I was 3 months early. And when I was born, my lungs weren't completely made, so I was on oxygen right away.
But after an entire year in the hospital and another 6 months on oxygen, Timothy made a full recovery.
Now I'm a normal boy. It's harder for me to swim and run, but I play ice hockey and play the saxophone here.
I think Timothy speaks for most of the Dance Marathon Miracle children when he says the event is not just about raising money.
Just having somebody care about you, it's like you always are cared about, but like they just want to spend time with you. It's all about you. It's just nice.
Addie Olson reporting for Newswatch 18, ISU TV.
Dance Marathon raised more money this year than they ever have in the event's 15-year history. The total rang in at more than $380,000.
After the Iowa caucuses on January 3rd, a recount was called to double-check the small difference in votes. The results had Mitt Romney slightly leading over Rick Santorum. However, another look at the elections pulled Santorum up to first place with just more than 34 votes than Romney. GOP officials were not satisfied, and with such close numbers in votes, they decided to call the race tie. This skepticism in the outcome threatens Iowa's first in the nation status. Many argue that without a clear winner, the time and money spent in Iowa were a waste, especially since every other state has been able to select a clear winner so far.
The stakes are high as President Barack Obama goes in front of the nation to give the State of the Union address tomorrow night. The president is expected to propose fresh ideas to further his current tax plans, along with plans to make college more affordable. Iowa State students, as well as students across the state, look to his plans to help pay for college. This is especially critical as the State Board of Regents in Iowa just passed a 3.575 increase for in-state college tuitions for next year.
Iowa State Professor of Aerospace Engineering, Bong Wee, has come up with a plan to save the planet. Wee proposed a plan to use nuclear weapons to destroy an asteroid before it collides with Earth. Although it sounds like a plot of a Hollywood movie, Wee and his team of 12 students and 1 scientist is planning further progress from funding from the government and NASA.
Iowa State sociologists David Peters and Andy Hochstetler have won the National Institute of Justice grant. They have received just over $225,000 for their work in examining why prisoners often end up back in jail. The professors will examine information from the Department of Corrections records from 2007 to 2010 to find any connections for the inmates who returned to prison. The research will also have them look at links between arrests and the debt crisis or programs from the Department of Corrections to see if these led to any rearrest. Now we're joined at the desk by Newswatch Sports' very own Stacy Stecker. I hear that the Hilton Magic finally pulled through for the women's basketball team. Is that right, Stacy?
That's right. I have the updates on all your favorite winter Cyclone sports coming up, including highlights from the women's game. Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch 18. Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Stacy Stecker with your Cyclone sports update. The Iowa State women's basketball team beat the number 7th ranked Texas Tech Raiders 66-49 Sunday at Hilton Coliseum. The Cyclones are currently 1-5 in the Big 12. The Cyclones and Raiders were head-to-head in the first half. Going into the second half, the Cyclones led 29-23. Early in the second half, the Cyclones pulled away with a 12-0 run to gain a big lead of 41-26. Hallie Christopherson led the Cyclones with a personal game high of 19 points and 10 rebounds for her third double-double of the season. Chelsea Poppins also had a double-double with 10 points and 15 rebounds. Laura Mansfield contributed by putting up 12 points in the second half. The women's basketball team will be on the road Wednesday to take on Kansas State. Last Friday, January 21st, the Iowa State men's basketball team defeated Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas. Cyclones won 76-52. The Cyclones are now 4-2 in the Big 12 play. The game started off slow, with the lead going back and forth between Iowa State and Texas Tech. The Cyclones gained their biggest lead right before halftime, making it 35-23 at half. Cyclones played great offense in the second half, with many players contributing points. Tyrus McGee led the Cyclones with 6 3-pointers and a total of 20 points in the game. Chris Allen followed with 14 points, and Melvin E. Jim had 13. Iowa State will face off against Texas Tuesday, January 24th. Sunday, January 20th, the number 1 Oklahoma State wrestling team beat the number 16th ranked Iowa State Cyclones. Oklahoma State beat the Cyclones 33-7. Iowa State is now 0-6 in the Big 12 action. 2 of Iowa State's wrestlers tucked away a win. Andrew Sorensen, a senior, dominated his match against Joe Ali with 5 takedowns and an overall score of 13-4. Sorensen is ranked 4th nationally with a record of 21-1. Ryek Finch also won his match 3-2 against number 8 John Morrison. Iowa State will wrestle this Sunday, the 29th, at Hilton Coliseum against the number 5 Cornell team. In national news, Joe Paterno, former Penn State head football coach, died of lung cancer Sunday, January 22nd at 9:25 a.m. at Mount Nittany Medical Center. Paterno was 85 years old and had been diagnosed with cancer just 95 days ago. Paterno had been coach for the Nittany Lions for 45 years. Under Paterno, the Lions had won more than 400 games, an all-time record in college football. His portfolio also includes 2 national championships, 5 undefeated teams, and 23 finishes in the top 10 national rankings. Paterno will be remembered as a great college coach. And that's all for sports. Stay tuned for more Newswatch after the break.
Back to Newswatch. The Iowa State Student Union Board is once again bringing prime entertainment to campus. Students and the public can get tickets today to see Nick Offerman in Stevens Auditorium on February 2nd. Offerman is a popular stand-up comedian and an actor who can be seen in the popular comedy show Parks and Recreation. Tickets are available at the Stevens box office or online for just $10 for students. Or keep an eye on ISU TV's Facebook and Twitter accounts later this week to see how you could win free tickets to the show.
Listen up, Iowa State students. If you post videos to YouTube or have dreams of producing a feature film, your hard work could soon pay off. YouTube is hosting Your Film Festival, a competition for users to submit their personal videos for review. The top 10 finalists will be sent to the Venice Film Festival, where they will have another chance to win a $500,000 grant from YouTube to produce a film with a production company. Film should be no longer than 15 minutes. Submissions will be accepted from February 2nd to March 31st. And that's all we have for tonight's edition of Newswatch 18. Thanks for joining us.
Tune in tomorrow night at 8 for more news, weather, and sports. Have a good night.